Hi everyone, this is part 2 on my how to use Payload CMS Vectorize. In this part, we'll be going over bulk embeddings and migrations. Bulk embedding is useful so that you can embed lots and lots of vectors in mass. This is very nice if you already have a large data set that needs to be embedded. On top of that, there's usually a 50% savings with bulk embeddings. So bulk embeddings look like this. Say that you have a collection that's already full. You go to your knowledge pool and you'll have an embed all button, and that's it. With that, you can run the embedding in bulks and it'll use your provider. You can actually watch it. Here we have the 5 inputs. The status is running. Now that it's succeeded, we should be able to take a look. Ta-da! You have the embeddings. As for migrations, migrations are necessary for production level Payload CMS instances. It'll make it so that your database looks like this, and it includes your knowledge pool. In this case, main knowledge pool. If you haven't seen part 1, I recommend it so you don't get lost. We'll be jumping right into it. Bulk embeddings relies on you implementing 3 callbacks per knowledge pool. This is so that we can interface with your provider. For this video, we'll be using Voyage AI for our examples and mock embedding for actually running it. Since submitting a real batch to Voyage AI takes around 12 hours, the 3 callbacks you have to implement are add chunk, where the plugin streams chunks in and you accumulate them, submit them to your provider. Poll or complete batch, where the plugin polls provider batch status frequently. When complete, you stream results back chunk by chunk. And lastly, on error. It's a cleanup. It also helps you know what happened and lets you do whatever you want with the information you receive. Let's go back to the payload config we had from part 1. Here we're going to comment out the real-time ingestion function, effectively disabling the real-time embedding. If you have neither the bulk or real-time ingestion function enabled, then the plugin is essentially disabled for that collection. For demo purposes, let's check out a real Voyage AI implementation. This is what the add chunk looks like. As you can see, we accumulate the chunks until we get to the 100,000 line limit imposed by Voyage AI. So, Voyage AI, modeled after OpenAI, expects you to submit JSON-L files for bulk embedding. You can see that we add it here, and each chunk comes with its own ID. It's important that the IDs match because that's what the plugin will use to relate all of the embeddings with their data, like the extension fields, among other. When add chunk returns a submission, the plugin assumes everything you've accumulated was submitted. So make sure your accumulation buffer matches what you actually sent. And you need to give the plugin the provider batch ID. Because when it comes to the poll or complete batch, what the plugin gives to you is that same provider batch ID. So you're going to be using that provider batch ID to poll your provider. And then let's say that you actually finally get a response that's positive telling you that the provider has finished the embeddings. You're going to want to download them and stream the outputs. At all points in time, we stream because of pagination reasons, right? So here you can see us streaming the results on chunk. I give back the ID, and sometimes the provider might give you chunk level errors. Now, this poll function runs consistently. And the reason it does this is because the provider will not let you know that it's finished. They don't call a webhook or anything like that. So you actually have to continuously poll the provider to see if it's done. Instead of having you sit there and polling or asking you to create an automatic polling system, the plugin calls the polling for you. This function is called repeatedly by the plugin until you return the chunks. Lastly, we have on error. It's more of a heads up, it gives you the provider batch IDs, tells you which provider batch had the error, and it gives you the error that was given to us. It doesn't do much in the implementation I have here, but with that said, it's pretty useful in case you would like to get alerts or anything along those lines. Now, I have these mocks here because if we were to really use Voyage AI, it would take about 12 hours. Now, here's the thing. We're not actually done. So, in order for bulk to work, it relies on two job types. One to prepare and submit batches, and one to pull and complete them. That means that you must configure queue names and cron runners for those queues. So, you do that outside of the knowledge pools. Right here, bulk queue names. Let's say prepare bulk embed queue name. We can actually keep that as default. And here we'll add the poll or complete queue name. And this one can be Vectorize bulk poll. So from earlier, we already have some auto run. This is for default, but let's add the next one. In this case, we'll be working on the Vectorize bulk prepare. Sorry, the bulk poll. We're going to make it run every 5 seconds, but if you wanted it to run on the hour, you would put a 0 here. And let's go with it. Queue. Hi, so I took a second to publish some posts, and as you can tell, we have a lot of posts, and if we go here to our main knowledge pools, we have absolutely 0 embeddings, but we do have this button here that will help us embed all. So once I press that, we get a run, and we can actually watch the status. This status is usually updated by your poll complete function, so it'll actually be getting the status as well from your provider. So here it succeeded. Let's go back to our vector bulk embeddings, and as you can tell, we have our 5 inputs and 5 succeeds. And let's go here to our main knowledge pool, and ta-da! We have our embeddings. Okay. So what happens if there are failures? Here with my mock embeddings, I can also, pipe it to fail. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. I'll add a new post. Here is that. We've published it. You have to publish because if it's unpublished, the title will actually be null. And let's go here to our main knowledge pool, and let's hit embed all. It should find the new post, try it, and it'll fail because we have it set up to fail. So here you can tell it's taking in our new post. It's currently running. Oh, and it failed. So whenever there are failed batches, you'll have this up here where you can actually click to see the failed batch, and you can retry the failed batch. So go ahead, do whatever changes you need to do, and then whenever you're ready, come back here and try the failed batch. Okay, with that, we are done with bulk embeddings. Let's move on to migrations. If you're like me, then migrations can seem daunting, but I did my best to make it automatic. Let's pretend I'm on a prod machine and I want to deploy. Firstly, I generate the import map. This is important, so those embed all buttons and rerun buttons actually appear. Then I generate the migration. After creating the migration, we are ready to call the plugin's CLI helper. It's pnpn payload vectorize migrate. This will actually patch your migration files. So if you were to open it up, you can see what was changed. With this, we can now apply the migration. That's it. You're done. And with that, you have a production-ready knowledge pool addition to your Payload CMS. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope the plugin does you well. Please give me feedback so I know if it's ready to be a 1.0, and give me stars so that we can continue the effort.